I have the Modern Warfare 2 community update from the beta of last year. Because let's talk about some of these points they talked about. Number one, what's coming back to the game? Classic red dots, right? Blog post, they talk about this. This design is for a reason. We do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. So again, they're adding this back in, and this was something that Infinity Ward took feedback on and said, don't care, we're not doing it. Again, we've seen feedback on the perk package system. Basically said, we don't care, we're leaving it this way. What's coming back? Normal perks. Yep. Dead silence is another hot topic, as many players have expressed they would like to see a perk instead of a field upgrade. 3 things already on these core changes they're making, stuff that Infinity Ward didn't want to do in MW2. The removal of slide canceling remains positive. That's funny, it certainly never seemed that way. For ad-free episodes, as well as early access and bonus episodes, check out our Patreon.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. Episode number, 350. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by young Tanner, and we've got a fun and exciting episode to get into today. This is our weekly news podcast, news patches, changes, upcoming changes program. We're doing it at the normal time today, and normally, these are what they are, but this week we have a lot to get into and a lot of fun and exciting stuff. One thing we had said last week was we were considering starting earlier, maybe streaming the reveal event. Turns out it's a good thing we didn't, for a variety of boring reasons we won't get into. But I will say we have a lot more to talk about than I was expecting to today, and I'm very excited about that. As you guys know, at the time of recording this, the reveal event for MWIII dropped just a couple of hours ago. Tanner and I have played it, so we're going to talk about that a little bit, but far more importantly, of course, is all of the info that's come out on the back of that reveal event. From Call of Duty officially, we've got some leaks. We've been getting some things some things even prior to the reveal event, but now we have an actual fuck ton to sink our tiny little teeth into.
Little baby teeth. And
I'm very excited to get into this afternoon's broadcast. Once again, I can't state this more emphatically, we got a lot more information than I was expecting to get. We got none from the reveal event. So let's be clear. The event itself told us nothing new. But we also got a bunch of blog posts and shit. We got an embargo lifted on some people who tested MW3 early, I guess. We have a lot to get into. This is going to be a really fun episode. And the bulk of our focus today is going to be on MW3, because we've learned a lot in the past week, and indeed in the past couple of hours. So strap the fuck in, boys and girls. Let's get started. But first, we have a couple of quick announcements. Welcome to our new gold patrons, Jeff O, Gibby, and Robert C. Boys, welcome and thank you very much. We appreciate that. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 5 bonus eps a month. Early access to all of our public episodes. You get all of our episodes ad-free and more. And it's the best way to support the show. For as little as $5 a month, you can get an extra 5 hours-ish, 4 or 5 hours of bonus episode content relating to Call of Duty every single month, and you get ad-free for all the episodes and early access and more. It's great. The value is unmatched. I mean, it's $5 for an entire fucking month. So if you like the show even a little bit, you got to become a patron. God damn you. Patreon.com/Dropshot. Jeff, Gibby, and Rob Ert. Thank you, boys. Now, a couple other quick announcements here. First of all, for those of you who are Damascus patrons, we are having our hangout tomorrow evening, Friday, the 18th, at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We might do some customs. We might not. It's looking like we will. I don't know if we'll do it for the whole evening, but we'll do it for a while at least, probably, depending on what you guys want to do and who shows up and all of that. One thing we could do, which we had talked about a while ago, was the Havoc mode, the goofy game mode that's like crazy or whatever. That could be fun for custom, so maybe we'll fuck around with that. We will see, but if you're a Damascus patron, if you want to come, make sure you join the fucking Discord, obviously. Link your Patreon and Discord accounts, and then you'll get access to the channel we do it in.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of the Patreon, Spotify, which is an app that many of you use to listen to this podcast, maybe the second most used app for podcast listening, has fucking finally released a feature where you can get your Patreon feed through your Spotify app. This used to not be possible. I don't know why, but now you can get the podcast feed directly from Spotify. So if you're a Spotify enjoyer, instead of having to listen to bonus episodes through Patreon, you can now do it through your same app that you listen to all your other podcasts on. So if you use Spotify, there should be something in your settings somewhere that allows you to link or sign into your Patreon account. So in Spotify's app, link your Patreon account to the app. And once you do that, you should see our Patreon feed come up in your Spotify. That means that if you're a patron and you've linked those things, you'll get a new show that will show up in your Spotify app, and it will have all of our early access episodes that'll be ad-free, and it will also have all of our bonus episodes. So it's going to be super convenient for you if you use Spotify for you to do that. That is now enabled. It should work, and it should be very easy. Patreon emailed us this week, so we got that all set up. So you guys should be good to go. If that was one reason maybe you did not join the Patreon, don't let that stop you anymore. Because now it's easier than ever. And it took them entirely too long. I don't know why, but now it's super fucking simple. Yeah. And you should be able to do that. So we were very pleased to get that email, and that's all set up. And that should really be the only feed you use for our show if you are on Spotify now. Because you get the public episodes there, and you get them without ads. And then you'd also get the bonus episodes in there as well. So, very cool stuff. Very excited to share that. Other than that, I'm not sure if we have any other announcements, do we?
No, we sure don't. That's
all right.
We're getting to this.
Let's get active. Oh, we got a lot to get into, boys and girls.
Pasta, thank you very much for the $4.99. Been here since Raz's sheet incident of 2020. The incident, yeah. Thank you, Pasta. Appreciate that. Nice gulp.
Big gulps. I got to keep that whistle wet because we got a lot of talking to get into. So, today, episode 350. Lots of MW3 stuff to cover. Quickly, before we get into that, we did have a patch for the current game that we're unfortunately stuck with for the time being. Modern Warfare 2, and we got a patch yesterday about some weapon balancing. So we're going to go through this kind of quick because most of you and us as well are primarily concerned with all the MW3 info we've gotten. Very excited to get into that, but let's get through this here quickly. Wednesday, August 16th, there was a patch for MW2 and Warzone 2. Whatever. Here we go. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. The benefit of tuning for recoil control related stats has been reduced slightly.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, okay.
So probably getting a little less range out of tuning for like damage range on your SMGs with the ammo types and shit like that, whatever. Bug fixes, once again, picking one at random. Let me close my eyes. Here's where my mouse stopped on the last one. Fixed an issue where equipping the Battle Buddy AI gun screen could cause an error. Got it.
An error, yeah.
Yep, classic Infinity Ward. I can't wait for Sledgehammer to take over. Classic Infinity Ward bug fixes. I refuse to read them now or go over all of them because none of them matter. So I pick one at random, and if it matters, I'll look at the other ones. But that hasn't happened yet since I started doing this a month ago.
There's one here, fix an exploit allowing players to go prone instantly. That was... You know, like those super sweat kids on Twitter that make videos, they spend all day in custom lobbies practicing how to like go prone and stuff instantly. They did that again. They spent 60 hours trying to figure this out. They figured it out. They posted videos of it and it was immediately patched. I mean, a week later, basically. So yeah. So, you know, they can patch stuff like that. But I full die instead of getting downed and ranked every single time I play it, so that's awesome. Yeah, they don't fix anything that matters. But yeah, and this was a thing. This is definitely an exploit that someone figured out. But also, I never saw one person do this in any of my lobbies ever. So cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for fixing.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, fuck Infinity Ward. I wonder if when we get MW3. The loadout icon bug is still going to be in Warzone. I really wonder if it'll be a full year for that massive bug to have been fixed. Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. Warzone weapons.
Warzone.
So yeah, the following changes are reflected in Warzone only. The Chimera has been buffed. The Avancer has been buffed, I would say. Quite a lot, maybe. Again, it's impossible to tell because Infinity Ward doesn't say anything that means anything, really.
Yeah,
upper torso damage multiplier increased. I don't know by how much, so I don't know what to tell you. We'll just have to wait on Sim to update their website. Maybe they already have.
That's got to be the best low recoil gun now. It just has to be. It was between this and the, what's the other one? The Tempest Razorback.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is probably better now.
Yeah. It doesn't look like Sim has these updated stats yet, but they should soon. So they can do the job Infinity Ward should do for us, which is give us actual numbers. Lockman 556, head multi increased a little bit. Probably still dog shit. M16, I'm not reading. Battle rifles, I'm not reading most of these. TAC V was nerfed, destroyed, gutted. Fucked. Don't use that gun anymore. The Lockwood MK2, I'm not reading it. Shotguns. Let's see.
MX Guardian.
MX Guardian was buffed. Max damage, close mid, and mid far damage. Or excuse me. Just the first two increased. Buffed a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Still probably not worth using. Don't care very much. The Fennec was buffed. The Signal was nerfed. Oh no. Neck multi and upper torso multi decreased.
It already didn't do upper torso damage at long range. It's already like a 3-shot to kill.
Yeah, not
at the
great.
longest range. Maybe it was only 2 still, I guess. Barely, maybe.
Still usable, but the neck multiplier being decreased, depending on by how much that is, could potentially be a very big nerf. And that's unfortunate. So, you know. I'm not surprised by this, though. We told you this was going to happen. They had already alluded to it, but I don't think this necessarily makes the Signal unusable in Warzone or anything.
No.
But it's possible that it is if they decrease the multipliers by too much, but I doubt it. And headshots still supposedly count for the same thing. And then the Hemlock 300 blackout rounds were nerfed as well, so that's probably dog shit. And then another list of bug fixes. Once again, closing my eyes, moving my mouse around. I'll stop here. Okay. Number 2. Fixed an issue where some PS4 players would experience a game freeze in a specific section of Al Mazrah. Got it. This is why we don't read bug fixes anymore. They don't fix anything that matters. Did they fix the loadout icon bug where it says I have a loadout that's accessible and there's not even a box there, let alone it's also in gas? No, of course they didn't. Game breaking, massive bug that impacts my experience. Every single game still hasn't, and it's been in since day one, still hasn't been fixed. But PS4 players would experience a game freeze in a particular section of Al Mazrah. They don't specify which section, by the way. That bug has been fixed. Thanks, Infinity Ward. Fuck this dogshit dev studio. Can't wait to say goodbye to them. So that's it. That's it for that patch. JGod also did a little preliminary testing on the back of this weapon balance change, and he tweeted out an image of a chart with a lot of
basically
numbers,
closer, basically across the board, time to kill increased around 100 milliseconds at various ranges for the TAC-V. So like up close range went from about 663 to 783. Mid range, which is I guess between 31 and 45 meters, it looks like, went from about 815 to about 870. And long range went from 875 up to 993.
And that's the big one.
That's a big one, especially for something like ranked, yeah. So, you know.
That gun's dog shit.
Cronin didn't get touched again, so if you were using the TAC-V over the Cronin, it's time to switch back to that, or there are a lot of other guns. RPK, again, is a good one, especially for ranked, I think. I'm not going to use it, but cool.
Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah, so shout out to JGod for actually doing something. And now, on to news and upcoming changes. Here's where we're getting active, okay? We've got a lot of blog posts. We've got some experience ourselves. Once again, Tanner and I did play the reveal event. We've unlocked the new gun. But we're going to spend most of our time here going through 3 new blog posts we've gotten from Call of Duty, starting with the pre-reveal event blog post.
Yeah, so this is just
posted today.
This is just talking about the event. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about our experience first and then kind of, I haven't really read this. I don't think there's anything real crazy on here.
Yeah, we're going to kind of use this as a rough guide here, but there's not going to be too much to say. We're certainly not going to be reading all of this, but yeah. This is just a blog post detailing the LTM. They get into a bunch of lore
live for 3 days,
none
by
of
the
us
way.
care about. Yeah, this is live for 3 days.
Remaining, so it probably ends Monday morning playlist? Would that how they would do it? Or Sunday? Sunday evening? I don't know. Sunday or Monday, one of those two. You have plenty of time to play
Plenty of time. It probably ends Monday morning. Yeah, that would be my assumption. So yeah, there's a lot. They describe how it works. It's very simple. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we can just start by saying this. So we did the event. Tanner and I got on. We had our little group. We infilled. It was fine. I mean, we got into a match, took a little while, but wasn't that big of a deal. You go to one of 8 little missile launcher things, you click a button, you kill some AI. Then you go up to Zaya Observatory, you go into a little bunker, you pick up gas canisters, you put them on a helicopter. And then once you've gotten enough as a team, then you leave the zone in the chopper, and then another cutscene plays. So there's no PvP at all in this event. There are a bunch of different squads, but you're all on the same team is how that works. So you're just fighting AI. In terms of gameplay, because there's no PvP, it's very boring. This is a one and done situation for sure. The cutscenes were fine. I mean, there was one before where it's okay, here's the mission, and they do the lore about it or whatever. It was cool. I don't know. I don't care. We don't care about lore, really. And then once it ends, there's another cutscene, and that's the gameplay. Excuse me, not the gameplay. The reveal trailer for MWIII. So, cool cutscene, gets you hyped. You see a lot of swimming, nighttime. There's some underwater demolition going on ice. They rappel up prison. And then the bulk of the cutscene, actually, after you finish the event, takes place in prison, the Verdansk POI. and then it ends, and then they pitch, of course, the Vault bundle and Black Cell,
yeah,
and pre-orders to you, and then they do that ad, and then that's kind of it. So, should you play the event? Yes. The reason you should play the event is not because it's fun or interesting. You could just go watch the cutscene. That's all you would get out of it anyway. The reason you should play the event is because there are some rewards you get for doing the event and accomplishing certain tasks. None of them really matter, except for you will get the new gun, the M13C, by doing something in the operation. I don't know what you have to do.
Killing 5 commanders. What is a commander? Okay. I don't know. I killed 5.
I don't know. We did one. Yeah, we did one match of this, and I had the M13 by the end of it. It only has 11 weapon levels, and it's double weapon XP right now. So mine is already max level from 2 matches of shipment. So that's why you should do the event, just to unlock the new gun. But it's not fun or interesting or anything like that. This is by far the worst LTM in terms of the new game reveal event modes we've ever had. It wasn't visually appealing. It wasn't mechanically interesting. There's no PvP. They've done events where there's no PvP before, but do they never really, the reveal ones?
Not for the reveal events, because what do you do if you die? Well, I guess you come back. Never mind. I guess so. The train event, that wasn't PvP. That was the other big one.
And that one was actually fun. I think they've done more where there was PvP, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Either way, whatever. Very boring. There was nothing exciting or interesting about it at all. Felt a lot like DMZ, actually. The AI or DMZ AI or whatever. But yeah, you should do it exactly one time to unlock the new gun, and then you'll have gotten your fill on it, as it were. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, it's definitely a one and done thing. They always are, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was interesting. It was the perfect amount of time. They didn't. So that train one,
it doesn't take forever. True.
The train one for Vanguard, the actual reveal that came at the end was cool. Once the train was blown up, and you're running, and you're being bombed, and there are air raid sirens going off, and the bunch of bombers. That was a cool scene. Leading up to that, miserable, because it didn't actually matter how much damage you did to the train. It was just on a set path, and it would blow up eventually. So I could just sit there and do nothing, the entire time. But it was just so repetitive, just shooting at the train. It was just fucking boring. So this, at least, I thought was better than that. It was interesting. It was cool. Like when all the missiles go off, you watch them all, the missiles all launch into the air. They all go up to observatory. They all hit at the same time. Boom, big explosion. You see a bunch of observatory up there destroyed. You start driving towards observatory. My frames drop to 37. There are helicopters everywhere. It's pretty intense. It's fun for the one time. But yeah, you're never going to play anything like that a second time. But I thought it was pretty well done. I was actually surprised. No real issues with it. It worked correctly.
Yeah, no issues. Which is kind of shocking. True.
Besides the frame rate, literally when we were on the exfil chopper, my frames were 37 at one point. 37, 40. But it doesn't matter. You're just sitting on a chopper waiting to exfil.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was cool. I thought it was fine.
It was fun.
I mean, honestly, the actual event was more exciting and fun than the reveal itself.
Yeah, the trailer was actually kind of it didn't show us anything. I didn't expect to really learn anything from it. I expected maybe there would be little snippets that the nerds would find the hint in or whatever, but it doesn't even seem like there was anything like that.
It was pretty much all the stuff we already saw. Prison.
Exactly.
The lake scene, the stadium thing. That's definitely parts of Verdansk, all of it. So yeah, it wasn't... I mean, it was kind of hype because the music and stuff. It gets you excited for the game, but... Yeah.
So it was fine. It was whatever. About what we expected. On the topic of the new gun, how good is it? How whatever. It feels like, an M13. It's a hybrid between an AR and a sub. Feels the same as the M13B to me, to be honest, but... maybe a little faster handling, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to compare them both. It does not have high velocity rounds, even though it's in the AR category. So don't expect this to be meta in ranked, because it can't be if it doesn't have high velocity attachment. So Not the end of the world if you don't unlock it. Also, it might be kind of buggy. I'm not sure. So don't forget, if you can't unlock it for some reason, it's bugged or whatever. Hopefully someone on your squad did, and they can drop it for you in DMZ, and you can unlock it that way. Don't forget about that avenue.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this right now. This blog post is not worth going over at all, by the way. I've been skimming it. There's nothing. But at the very end, it talks about the rewards. So to get the M13C assault weapon, it says, assist in killing 5 commanders. Note that Juggernauts, boss choppers, and Wheelsons all count towards this challenge. So maybe Jake just never shot at a chopper, and that's why he didn't get it. Because I was constantly shooting at choppers. I stuck the Juggernaut with 2 Semtexes. I didn't know a Wheelson was even in there. I don't think I ever saw one. They probably forgot to add those in. But I shot at like every chopper, so I guess that's why. You probably do 1 point of damage to it, and that'll eventually get the assist when someone else destroys it. Yeah. That's what you have to do when you see the choppers. And I think that's referring to like the boss choppers in DMZ, like the Hinds, the ones that are shooting at you, not the Blackhawks that are just dropping off AI. It's the ones with guns attacking you, and they're constantly attacking you once you get to observatory. So just shoot those, and you'll eventually get it, it sounds like.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Now we've got another blog post, and here we've got some meat and some potatoes. This is we got a nice little 3-course meal here, and this may or may not be the entree. I'm not sure, but it's going to be something. So this is another blog post we got today. Worldwide reveal announcing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So there's a lot of big words. MWIII picks up immediately following the events of MW2. It's referring to the campaign, of course. It's going to release on Friday, November 10th. And that is in line with everything that's been leaked and everything we've been told and heard. And no surprises there. So moving on here, they've got the gameplay reveal trailer.
Don't call it that. Call it the campaign reveal trailer. There's no gameplay in it. I hate when companies do this. Don't say gameplay reveal. It's not that.
Yeah. So we are getting a new campaign that continues the story immediately following the events of MW2. The lead developer is Sledgehammer Games in partnership with iDub. And they're set to deliver a full campaign. So that was kind of up in the air about whether there would be a campaign, to what degree, whatever. Looks like now we're getting confirmation there is going to be a full-assed campaign. And that is pretty interesting. And there are some differences with this campaign, at least supposedly, that we're going to get into here shortly. Here's the first big ticket item here. Expect a world-class multiplayer experience celebrating the Modern Warfare series' greatest legacies. All 16 launch maps from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 2009, have been modernized with new modes and gameplay features and will be available at launch to get everyone started.
Wow.
While over 12 all-new Core 6v6 maps will fuel post-launch live seasons. So this is pretty interesting, and there is a lot of buzz on the TL about this, among many other things. Normally, in the past few years since we started this program, the way these games have been handling multiplayer maps is they'll release with mostly original maps, 1 or 2 remasters, and then as new seasons come, it's like we're adding 2 new maps for season 2. One of them is a remaster of an old CoD map. One of them's a new original map or whatever. This year, they're changing their tack dramatically, and all of the launch maps are going to be remasters only. And then with new seasons, I would not expect many new remasters outside of that. It's going to be like season 1 has 2 new maps, original maps. Season 3 has 2 more new original maps, etc. This is a smart decision that makes sense, especially since they had originally planned on not having a full game this year. This is a smart way for them to get a lot of maps into the game in a limited amount of time because it's going to be faster to remaster a map than design new ones. So
and maybe that means the game will launch not buggy since they didn't have to design 16 brand new maps.
Yeah, that almost certainly it will be buggy, but that's a nice cope, and it's possible. Maybe that'll contribute to fewer bugs. But yeah, the launch maps being MW2 maps is very interesting. I think it's a smart play. There are a lot of great MW2 maps, and there are a lot of dog shit ones as well. Someone had reminded me that Underpass was a map in MW2, and I was like, oh yeah, that's correct. It sure is. Yeah. So we got Afghan, we've got Derail, Estate. Estate is going to be miserable, by the way. Favela, great map. High Rise, fine. Invasion, fine. Karachi, solid. Quarry, dog shit, awful map. That's going to suck balls. Rundown, I really liked Rundown. Rust, again, I'm done with Rust. I don't need it anymore. Scrapyard, that's a good map. Skid Row is going to be the most cancer toxic dog shit map in this game. Subbase is a great map. Underpass is going to be fucking awful also. God, I hope the visibility is good in this game. It's going to need to be for a lot of these maps. Wasteland, okay, not great. And last, but certainly not least, I did not, in fact, forget. We will finally, we've been told for almost 5 fucking years that we were going to be getting this map in a new game, and finally it's true.
Wow, the leaks were right.
Terminal. We're getting Terminal, baby.
Holy shit.
Woo! Fuck, woo!
Wow,
We are finally getting Terminal.
What the fuck,
We've been told
really?
every single year for 5 fucking years from these leaking liars that Terminal is coming in insert game. Oh, Terminal's going to be in MW 2019. It wasn't, by the way. Oh, Terminal's going to be in, what was the game after that? Cold War?
Cold War.
Cold War.
They didn't say it was going to be in Cold War, but yeah, it was like
probably did.
Before before the launch of MW19, it was like Terminal's coming as a launch map. Then it was like Terminal's coming in season 1. Then it was all right, Terminal's coming in season 2. All right, it's coming. It's coming in season 4. It's getting here late. It's coming. It's confirmed, guys. It's confirmed. Never came. MW22. Yeah. Terminal's confirmed. It's coming. It's in. Never came. They just lie. Yeah, the leakers lie. Just remember that.
Yes,
they
correct.
get things correct at times. They also get a lot of things wrong. Most things wrong, usually. Yeah.
And I could predict more things than leakers do if I just use their strat, because I would just guess a bunch of shit, and then everything that ends up happening to be correct later, I would retweet from a year ago when I said that and say, see, I'm always right, but I'm not a piece of shit, so I don't do that. So anyway, yeah, we're getting Terminal as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this strat? Getting
I'm totally fine with it.
Only on
I
launch.
like it. Better than them coming later, because by the time season 2 rolls around, season 1 reloaded, I'll be done with multiplayer. So I'd rather experience the maps like this early on. And that's what I've always complained about, is like MW19, by the end of it, like the last season, they were putting good maps in the game, and I was like, that sucks. This map looks great. I played it one time though, because I'm not playing MW19 multiplayer in season 5. I'm not even playing it past season 3. So it's like, I like that they're giving it to us at the start. I think that's a really, really good plan. Great for marketing, great for selling the game from their perspective, great for people coming back to the game and be like, oh shit, I remember playing all these maps. This is dope. This is fun. It is going to work so well for them. And yeah, then the remaining 12 maps that we're going to get are all new core maps, they're saying. So it sounds like none of those will be remastered, all new maps. I think it's a great strat, honestly, yeah.
I agree. I think, some people are maybe a little upset that we aren't getting any original maps on launch, but I'm fine with that. And another thing too is like MW2 came out in 2009. So they might as well be new maps. Like, I haven't played Estate in over 10 years. So,
it's not good. Yeah, it's not a good map
Estate's
at all.
a bad example because that's not a good map. Subbase. Okay, that's a good map.
Well, okay.
I liked sub base quite, or Terminal. Hey, let's say Terminal. I haven't played Terminal in so long that it might as well be a new map, basically, in terms of novelty. But at the same time, I also get the hit of nostalgia. And I know it's a well-designed map because they used to make good maps back then sometimes, and now they don't. So I agree. If this was like remastering all of, whatever, the Vanguard maps, that would be a mistake, obviously, because those are too fresh in our memory, and there wouldn't be enough originality there. But since these are so old, bringing them back, I think, is like kind of the best of both worlds, because it really is going to feel novel, which is what you would want to accomplish from an original map. But also, they're going to be, on the whole, a pretty solid suite of maps.
Yeah.
I would say, generally speaking, the MW2 original maps were good as a package. So yeah, I think it's a great play. I'm very excited about it. And there's some real bangers in there, man. Terminal's a great map. I really like Subbase. Scrapyard's a great map. Rundown's a great map. Karachi's a great map. Invasion, I don't remember very well. Favela is an exceptional map. Derail was a fun map. I don't know how it would play in modern games, though. And Afghan, of course, is going to be a great map, too. So I'm really excited about that. But, yeah.
Quarry. I hate Quarry. Shit, map.
Quarry's dog shit, miserable and awful. Yeah. And that's not to say they're all good, because, yeah, Estate is fucking awful. High Rise is mid. Don't at me. Quarry's fucking awful. Rust is fucking awful. Don't at me again. Skid Row's probably going to be the worst map in the game. I'll say that again. It is so bad. It's not a good map. It's not even close to being a good map. This is where you're going to level shotguns. This is where you're going to level your knife.
Or wouldn't you like it when you love shotguns?
Yeah. In Warzone, I do, because it allows me to compete. In multiplayer, I mean, they're fun, but yeah, it's just like a dumb fucking map. But whatever. Either way. Yeah, very exciting stuff there. So let's move on here. Next paragraph. For the first time, team up with other squads to survive and fight massive hordes of the undead in the largest CoD zombies map ever. Modern Warfare Zombies, MWZ, tells a new zombie story from developer Treyarch with missions, core zombies features, and a host of secrets to discover. Woo, fuck baby woo is what I have to say to that. God damn it, I'm excited. Now, this is like the preamble in this blog post. I think there's going to be more details on all of this as we dive in further. But at just that paragraph, I'm hyped. Big map zombies, great. Zombies at all, fantastic. Developed by Treyarch, that even better, because the best iteration of zombies ever, as far as I'm concerned, was in Cold War, and that was done by Treyarch. Really robust, really full, immense replayability, the likes of which we've never seen in zombies before. Looked fantastic. Fantastic enemy variety. Fun, unique challenges.
Yeah,
cool
zombies
wonder weapons. Just fantastic zombies experience. And they're at the helm again for this year. This is really exciting.
Yeah. So only thing is, it sounds like there will not be any type of round-based zombies. It is just going to be this one mode of zombies, it sounds like.
Which is a little concerning.
Which is closer to Outbreak. So yeah, it could be concerning for sure. That's the only thing I'm worried about. They do mention here, team up with other squads to survive and fight. It is only PvE, so there are other squads on the map. We have no info on how any of that works. Maybe it's like Warzone, where you choose where you drop and land somewhere. Maybe you just spawn in randomly. You spawn with different people across the map. I don't know if it even shows where other people are on the map. Don't know how any of that works, but it is PvE only, and it's on a large map. And there is a screenshot in here later we're going to get to.
Yeah, we'll get more details, hopefully, as this blog post goes forward. There is another zombie section, so. Yeah, so that section was kind of just the preamble for this blog post. So there should be more details on everything we just went into. So first, dedicated section here, campaign, adapt or die, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not reading this.
We're not reading
I
this.
don't care.
It's a campaign.
One thing that is
fun.
interesting is this, though. Open combat missions. OCMs are an exciting innovation to the CoD campaign. Not only do they complement the cinematic missions you've come to expect, but they also provide you with numerous additional choices regarding your methods of mission completion. So I've read a little bit about this already. Basically what they're saying is, for this campaign, there's going to be whatever, 12 levels or whatever. I made that number up, but let's say there are 12 levels. 6 of them are going to be campaign missions like you're used to, where you fucking load in, you do the shit, and then you get out. And it's very linear. But also the other 6 in this example are going to be open combat missions, meaning, okay, we're going to put you on a map and you have to accomplish a goal, but you don't have to do it in a particular order, and you don't have to take a particular route. You can do it however you want. So it's like a little more of an open world feel, campaign type mission, where you don't have to follow the prescribed path. You don't have to use the prescribed vehicles, etc. You can kind of do whatever the fuck you want as long as you accomplish your task in that campaign mission. I quite like this idea. I think it's very cool. It adds a different flavor to some of the campaign missions that I think is nice, because I would expect all of them to be linear. So the fact that they're making some of them less linear, I think is cool. I don't care that much because I'll be playing the campaign exactly once regardless.
Yeah.
But in theory, this would also make it a little more replayable as well.
Yeah, it is like the Spec Ops mode we played early on in MW2. Yeah, where it was like, here's what you have to do, land where you want. There's 3 objectives you have to take. You can do it quiet, you can do it loud. There are different like default kits you can go in with, different operators that kind of do different things, and that's pretty much what this is. Yeah, because it says like, feel free to take advantage of any operable vehicles within your area of operations. You're able to experiment with and leverage tactical and lethal equipment. You have the flexibility to maneuver across the sizable landscape of emissions AO. So yeah, that's always been the issue with the CoD campaign. I remember talking about that with the MW2 campaign. Is like, it is fun, but it is so linear that it's like, you can't go and you have to run this direction. If you run 50 feet to the right, you're out of the combat zone and it just kills you or something. So this at least gives you a little more free roam. It will lead to exactly no more replayability for me, but it'll shake things up, maybe make me willing to play at a more difficult difficulty, or a harder difficulty. So if I die, I'm like, okay, well, I'll try something else this time. I'll go in from this way, maybe something like that. Just not as, because some of the COD missions are so linear. That one where you had to drive the truck and blow things up and then jump from vehicles, get around mines, drive around mines, that was so repetitive feeling and dog shit. And I just don't want that feeling. Way too fucking long. Yeah, let me do what I want. Let me just get out of the car and just blow everything up with an RPG, So I like that. This sounds much better.
Yeah, so it's cool. So anyway, moving on. Next section, multiplayer. It's time to settle old scores and start new ones. Okay, I don't know how much there's going to be here. They talk about the maps.
I think this is where a lot of it is. This is like the bulk of it.
Okay.
Kind of. It's in the multiplayer features section.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lists all the maps.
In addition to brand new modes like Cutthroat, a competitive 3v3 v3 experience, a full range of fan favorite and innovative gameplay features will be available at launch to get everyone started, like choosing to play hardpoint and kill confirmed on Favela, modes that were never part of the original map offering. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
You used to not be able to play hardpoint on Favela? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Well, okay. I think it was hardpoint even a mode back then? I don't remember when Hardpoint
maybe not.
Released. It may not have been.
It's a good point. Game. Yeah. So anyway. Okay. So now here's the next subheader in the multiplayer section. Going big with brand new maps, ground war, and war modes return. Okay. This is very surprising to me. I expected one or the other. I did not expect both. Here's what they say. The 16 core launch maps are further complemented with the addition of 4 huge environments ready at launch, containing a host of new play spaces. These are composed of 3 brand new battle maps, large-scale locations where MW3's ground war and invasion game modes will be fought. So I guess we're getting invasion as well, which is the dog shit version of ground war where there's AI on, but it's ground war but with AI.
That had to have such a low player base. I can't believe they're bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. And a single colossal war map, as MW3 marks the welcome return and evolution of the legendary war mode that first debuted in 2017's Call of Duty World War II. Okay. That's pretty interesting. So they don't really say much more about that, but it looks like we are getting some original maps on launch. They're just not 6's maps. It's going to be 3 battle maps and 1 war map. So we're going to get ground war invasion, and war mode. And it sounds like the war mode map is actually even bigger than the battle maps, which are the ground war maps. How fucking big is that going to be? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is. I was trying to find like a quick kind of like little where it kind of explains what war mode is. All of these articles are dog shit. Because, yeah, I always heard of this mode, but I never played CoD World War II, so I never played this mode at all. But, like, the way it's explaining here, it sounds like it's one mode, but there are a bunch of different maps, so it, like, takes place on different sections of the map. Did you ever play it in World War II?
I don't believe I did, no. I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't get it. Even the wiki does a horrible job explaining what it is, so I don't know. I think it's just basically a massive ground war.
Yeah, so we'll see, but what are your expectations for these ground war maps? Because we were very excited, and indeed, my favorite multiplayer experience, generally speaking, is to play ground war. But that's not the case in MW2, because without exception, all of the ground war maps are fucking awful in Modern Warfare 2. And that entire game mode is ruined exclusively by the maps. So we're going to be getting 3 maps at launch for ground war. And I think those are going to determine whether or not I will be a ground war main when it comes to leveling guns, or a Skid Row main when it comes to leveling guns.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You have high expectations for these ground war maps.
Well, we have higher expectations for the game's core multiplayer, so therefore I think both of us will care less about ground war. Why did we like ground war so much in MW19? The maps were fucking awful. And I think we really didn't primarily start playing ground war until 10's Dom was dead a couple months into the game, and then I think that's when we switched to ground war. I think we would kind of dabble in it, but after that, I never played 6's MW 2019 because the maps were way too big. 6's Arklov Peak, are you kidding me? Is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why we swapped to ground war, because you can find action. And the best thing about ground war, the skill-based matchmaking it doesn't exist basically. So there are a lot of burger bots in there, easy to farm, get high streaks. Plus MW19 did have like Anaya, which was a great ground war map because there were no vehicles. So it was a big infantry map, which was really fun. Good amount of players, perfect sizing. Anaya Palace I thought was great. But so since we know what the maps are, we know they're basically sized for 6v6. We're going to get into the movement and stuff, so the game on paper is going to play faster. I think we'll care less about ground war this year in general. So I don't really have any expectations because as of right now, I'm way more interested in just the core maps. So hopefully it's good because, the core game mode will get very sweaty. So that'd be nice to get a break from that more than anything. But
yeah.
I can't see that they can make worse maps than what they had in MW2.
That's a great point.
I think that'd be so hard to do.
One thing you touched on that I'm glad you did is this all but confirms to me that there will not be 10s. It's going to be 6s or ground war or war.
100%, I think.
There's no 10s. That's not happening, which kind of is a shame. But if the ground war maps are well done, then I'll for sure get over it.
Yeah. If the 6's maps are the right size and you can move quick enough across them, we don't need 10s. We needed 10s because the maps were designed for 10s in MW19, and they just so happen to also have 6s in the game.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff there. So moving on, all new core map content comes to live season content. Okay. Yeah, so they're releasing new shit. Okay, next subsection here. Multiplayer features. Okay. New mechanics and robust customization. This, I think, is what has everyone the most excited about MW3, is this section right here. This is where everyone's getting in an absolute tizzy on the TL. Let's dive in.
Yeah,
Expect many customization advancements and new gameplay mechanics to further evolve the quintessential fast-moving gameplay. Here are 3 innovations with more to be revealed in the coming weeks.
They already said fast-moving gameplay. There's already shade thrown towards Infinity Ward.
Yep. New gameplay innovation, tac stance. Breach and clear with the new tactical stance feature. A perfect middle ground between hip fire and aiming down sights. So picture using that 7 milliwatt canted laser attachment in MW2. That's what the tac stance is going to be, basically. Okay. When entering tight hallways and cramped rooms, toggle tac stance on to improve weapon performance and win the fight. Here's what to expect from tac stance. The operator unshoulders the weapon and holds it in a canted firing position. You can toggle in and out of the stance dynamically while ADSing. It trades precise accuracy for improved mobility and handling. Some spread to your firing will occur, best described as a middle ground between full ADS and hip fire. It is designed to be used in aggressive close-quarter combat situations. By default, you fire in tac stance while sliding. So you can also shoot your gun while sliding. Yeah. Wow. So basically, they're giving everyone the 7 milliwatt canted attachment, but they're also adding extra benefits to it, and they're not tying it to an attachment. It's simply a toggle.
Yeah, it's not going to be a laser UC or something either.
Correct. What are your thoughts on this? Because this is pretty crazy.
My initial thought is this will be like just another gimmick, I think. Because we're going to get into the rest of it here. If the game has good movement, a fast slide, I'm not sure this is really going to be used. Because like fast players that, in theory, they're designing this for are just going to slide through a doorway and start shooting people usually. They're not going to like pre-set up in this tac stance and like walk through a house. That's just, they're never going to do that. I'm thinking of the way I play, I'm never doing that. If I have a really good slide, I'm just sliding instead and moving around that way. And if the movement's faster in general. So I don't know. Sounds kind of cool on paper, but I feel like this will not be utilized that much probably.
Yeah. I'm genuinely unsure. I think it all depends on how good it actually is. So how much faster is your handling from using the tac stance? We don't know. How much faster can you sprint to fire or ADS? We don't know. How much worse is your
already be ADS
spread gonna be?
That's the thing, is you get like, there is no like your gun is, I think, just immediately ready to fire because it's already up. So it's like as soon as you click, there's no delay on anything. I think that's basically what it is. So there won't be a delay.
Well, I think it's like using the 7 milliwatt laser. You can still actually hip fire, but when you ADS with the laser, you go into a different animation where you're not literally aiming down sights, but you're holding your ADS button and your stance changes. That's almost certainly what they mean. So my question on that is, when you enter that, how bad is your hip fire spread? Or how bad is your bullet spread, rather? Is it going to be fucking terrible, or is it going to be like pretty solid? Whether or not this actually gets used is going to 100% depend on how beneficial the pros are and how detrimental the cons are, basically. And I hope that it becomes something that's worth using, but not overpowered to where every single person always has this on. Unless they're like in a 30-meter gunfight or something. I don't know, though. It's impossible to tell without seeing how good these things are going to be.
If I saw 3 seconds of gameplay, I could clearly make a decision. It's like, just
exactly.
see how it works. But yeah, I don't know. Sounds like it kind of may be a gimmick feature.
I think it definitely could be. Gimmick feature in the same way that blind fire was a gimmick feature that no one used in Vanguard, for example. That could certainly be the case. Yeah. So, still though, I like the idea. Because even if it's like not worth using or whatever, this gives us a good insight into where Sledgehammer's kind of head is at in terms of speed of gameplay. And we're going to get more into that now. So new gameplay innovation, evolving loadouts. MW3 brings new levels of customization to create a class. Get ready to build your loadout based on cutting edge military equipment, such as gloves, tactical vests, boots, and more, allowing you to fine-tune more aspects of gameplay. For those of you who are patrons, we have already talked about this. This was leaked weeks ago, and Tanner and I even showed some screenshots in our Patreon bonus episode that we did on this topic last month, patreon.com/thedropshot, where part of what your create a class is, rather than perks necessarily, is going to instead be what gloves you use, or if you use gloves at all. And the gloves are going to replace the fast hands perk, for example. It's going to be tied to equipment. Pretty interesting, and we don't really have more info, so it's hard to say what exactly this is going to entail until we learn more.
Yeah.
So
sounds cool though, because it definitely is going to change the actual look of your operator then, if I had to guess. Like, judging from some of the screenshots we saw, it's like, okay, yeah, this guy is like a very different looking plate carrier. So I think that's cool. You get kind of that extra level of customization I've always wanted in the game.
Yes. So moving on. New gameplay innovation, aftermarket parts. Okay. The evolution of the gunsmith continues with the addition of aftermarket parts. This is a special set of customization allowing you to focus on your preferred and specific playstyle. Aftermarket parts enable you to construct unique weapon configs or types, such as customizing a machine gun into a bullpup configuration, thus increasing mobility and handling without compromising on damage output. Aftermarket parts will also offer new progression paths and challenges to unlock. We will be sharing more info on this in the coming weeks. So to me, all this sounds like is they're saying they're adding extra customization in the gunsmith, and they're just calling it aftermarket parts. Yeah, basically.
100%.
So there's going to be new attachments that can change a gun from bullpup to not, or vice versa, and other things like that.
Yeah, and I would have guessed, as we kind of already talked about, there will be less attachments in this game in general, because most of the MW2 attachments, as we already went over in the carry forward blog post last week, 2 weeks ago, you're going to be able to use most of those attachments on the MW3 guns anyways. So it's like, yeah, I don't want any more attachments. Either don't bring the old ones in, or don't give me new ones. Just, pick something.
Yeah.
We definitely don't need any more optics. Please don't give us optics. Just give us reticles for the optics to unlock.
Yeah, that would be great. So anyway, once we learn more on that, we'll go into it, obviously. But right now, that's kind of, I don't have anything else to say. Changes to core mechanics. Here we go. The return of classic gameplay.
Wow.
Is the next subheader. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Here are the multiplayer features confirmed for MW3 multiplayer coming on day 1. Map voting returns, allowing players to greater autonomy over their multiplayer matches. So you can vote on next map, previous map, or random map. Okay. Classic mini-map behavior, with red dots indicating when an enemy is firing an unsuppressed weapon. Wow.
Yeah.
All chosen perks are available at the start of each match. So you don't have to wait 32 seconds for your bonus perk to come online. Great. The covert sneakers perk allows for silent movement, assuming you've chosen the correct footwear. So again, they're adding the ninja perk back, except it's not a perk, it's just a pair of sneakers you wear. Core multiplayer health is 150 rather than 100, lengthening the time to kill. Hardcore mode is not affected. A return of classic gameplay indeed. Many people, including myself, are very happy about almost all of these things. So let's take them one at a time. Map voting. Good. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't care that much anymore, but it's good. I'd rather have it than not. Classic minimap behavior. Very good. Excellent. Very happy about that. All chosen perks just work at the start of the match. Duh. I never expected this to not go back to how it was going to work, so that's good. Core multiplayer health increased to 150. That has not been the case in multiplayer since, I believe, BO4, actually.
No, Cold War had 150, didn't it?
I don't know if it did.
Pretty sure
I know it had
did.
a slower TTK, but I don't know if that was 150 health. Maybe it was.
I thought it was 150.
That is a big deal. And that is going to make the TTK a lot slower. And in theory, that's going to create a larger skill gap. And which I like. I like time to kill not being as fast as it is right now. Give me some time to react to the camper so that if I have better, aim than him or reaction time, I can actually win a gunfight even if I don't shoot first. In some scenarios, that's really good. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the covert sneakers perk. So Ninja allows for not quiet movement, but it says here silent movement. If you're truly silent, that's not super great, in my opinion. But a lot of people want this.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually, even when it's not technically completely silent, I don't think you can ever, actually hear it. It's pretty damn quiet. You would maybe hear someone, jumping off of something a foot behind you, but even then, when they say silent or quiet, it's usually, either way, it's virtually the same. Yeah, my only thing is, it's going to suck if there is no balance in that perk category, and so just everyone is running around silent. Because I get that you guys want that because that's what the CDL wants, but it's not fun playing that. It really isn't. It's not fun playing a shooting game where you never once hear a sound cue from anyone. It's not exciting. If there are red dots on the mini-map, that is better because then you can kind of find where people are shooting from exactly, at least.
And the slower TTK helps that,
The slower
too.
TTK helps that? Yeah. I don't know. I don't care that much about having Ninja at all in the game. But yeah, it's funny how all this is worded. So more than anything, I don't really have anything else to add. I just want to point out, I have the Modern Warfare 2 community update from the beta of last year. Because let's talk about some of these points they talked about. Number one, what's coming back to the game? Classic red dots, right? Blog post, they talk about this. This design is for a reason. We do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. So again, they're adding this back in, and this was something that Infinity Ward took feedback on and said, don't care, we're not doing it. Perks, again, we've seen feedback on the perk package system. Basically said, we don't care, we're leaving it this way. What's coming back? Normal perks. Dead silence is another hot topic, as many players have expressed they would like to see a perk instead of a field upgrade. We believe it is important to the game health that rushers are not able to move at high speeds without consequence. Dead silence as a field upgrade creates a balance between freedom and movement and predictability of combat. 3 things already on these core changes they're making. Stuff that Infinity Ward didn't want to do in MW2.
Despite player protests.
And then Slide, talking about blah blah. The removal of slide canceling remains positive. That's funny. It certainly never seemed that way. Additionally, we have some other slide changes for launch. Oh, this was funny. I forgot they said this. We have other slide changes for launch, which will make this movement feel a bit more fluid and snappy. Sure didn't. Lied to us. Yeah, and they talk about footsteps. Yeah, so just keep in mind that, all of these things we're talking about, basically, the return of classic gameplay is just directly things that we did not have in this last title because Infinity Ward says they take feedback into consideration, but they actually don't. And for all of you saying, Infinity Ward doesn't ever deserve a game. They should be fired as a studio. I agree with you, but just keep in mind there are people out there on the TL that genuinely believe, I think Infinity Ward's going to be moved to a support studio. They made Activision more money than any game ever in the last year. Why the fuck would Activision ever remove them? They fucking love them. Doesn't matter that you guys complained about the game the whole year. All of you fucking total that bought Black Cell, you're the reason. You contributed to that gameplay. So when you're complaining about the game, saying this and that sucks, I'm so glad we're going back to it, just know that literally the primary reason that will never change and Infinity Ward will do the same shit next time they have a main title is because you guys bought all of that shit. It is literally your fault. So,
That is correct, yes.
Infinity Ward will always be the head studio for Activision because they make them more money than fucking everyone, and it's not even close.
Yeah. This is just the return of classic gameplay. Everything we just went over is a direct response to MW2. That's why they wrote this section the way they did. That's why they titled it the way they did. And that's why they're making the reversions back to classic gameplay that everyone wanted, is because Infinity Ward did not do that. They've made it like an explicit point about doing all of these things. This is, just to remind you guys, Infinity Ward thinks they know what players want better than what the players tell them they want. And that's a difficult line for a dev to straddle because sometimes they are right. Sometimes people think they want something in the game that if they actually got it, they would not want. That's possible. But in Infinity Ward's case, they are usually not correct when they think that, and they would be better served just listening to what players say they want, because for a lot of these things, it would actually be what they want. It wouldn't have some negative consequence that the player isn't thinking of when they ask for these things. So it's just the hubris of Infinity Ward caused MW2 to launch in a dogshit trash state. 9 months later, the game is more playable, but now we're talking about MW3. Now no one gives a fuck. We're waiting for the next game. So this game launching with things that players actually say they want, is a very good sign. So that's all good stuff there. So moving on, the next section. Movement in MW3. Responsiveness. This again is another shot across the bow at Infinity Ward from Sledgehammer. When maneuvering in MW3 multiplayer, expect the following movement abilities in terms of your operator's general responsiveness. You can cancel slide animations, but slide canceling does not reset tactical sprint. Let me run that back. Let's fucking go. This is exactly what Tanner and I wanted. We wanted to be able to cancel our slide. We did not want it to reset tac sprint, forcing you to always do it to move around the map as quickly as possible. This is the best of both worlds. This is a great, fantastic, awesome, beautiful change, and it's what we all should want. I don't want to be forced to slide cancel to get from A to B faster, but I want to be able to cancel the slide animation so that I can slide whenever I want without being punished for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect and fantastic. And keep in mind, now you can shoot while sliding as well. So there's truly no punish to doing a slide anymore. But it's also not mandatory like it was in MW19 to slide cancel everywhere because it's not going to reset tac sprint. This is the best case scenario, best of both worlds. Everyone should be happy about this. Everyone. To a man.
Yeah.
Great fucking change. And it's so simple also, by the way. This is another thing to keep in mind. This is not hard for any dev studio to do. Add the ability to cancel the animation and not have it reset tactical sprint. That's not hard mechanically for a dev studio to do. I'm not asking for Crysis 4 graphics or something. This is easy to do, and everyone wants it, and it would benefit everyone. And Sledgehammer says, I agree, and they just do it. It's that simple, and Infinity Ward refused to do it among myriad other things that we just went over and more. This is fantastic news, But also, it's such a small ask that it's a shame that I have to get this excited about it. But I am.
Yeah.
It's a great step, and I'm very pleased. Very pleased.
I like that they pointed out, too, it does not reset tax sprint, because if they had just said you'll be able to cancel slide animations, i.e. slide cancel, everyone
I'm very pleased with that as well.
So, because a lot of people don't understand the difference, as we've talked about.
Yeah, that's a great point, and this speaks to the clarity of a professional company. When they communicate, they actually tell people things and it's not confusing. This is, by the way, standard. I mean, if you're a AAA company in any industry, it's standard to be able to communicate to your customers information that's not confusing. And Sledgehammer can do that. That's awesome. Because you're right. If this was Infinity Ward, they would say slide canceling's coming back. That's what it would say. And then we would be wondering, okay, is it going to reset tax sprint? What do they mean by slide cancel? Will I be able to shoot? We'd have all kinds of questions. But because we have a competent dev studio writing this, we actually understand what the fuck they're talking about. And they did explicitly point out it doesn't reset tax sprint, which is great. By the way, this is also confirmation, not terribly surprising, but it is confirmation now. Tax sprint will be returning as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was kind of an open question, because after all, we didn't have it in Cold War. So we will have tax sprint in the next game as well, which I'm kind of ambivalent about. I honestly wouldn't be that mad if we didn't have tax sprint in the game. I would be mad if we didn't have sliding and slide canceling, but I don't care too much either way about tax sprint. If it's implemented properly, I think it's probably good, because it's another mechanic. It allows you to move even faster, but also there's a punish when you tax sprint because your sprint out timer is slower. So I think overall it's good that it's in the game, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world if it wasn't, but it is in the game.
Bottom line, we just need fast movement. So if that's tax sprint, if that's not tax sprint, whatever gives me, if there's the option between tax sprint and it has a movement speed, and then there's movement speed that is the same but without tax sprint, like Cold War, just standard sprinting, and they're the same speed, I'm never choosing tax sprint. I just want the one that's going to be fastest. So if there's an option and it's the same speed, I'm choosing to not have tax sprint. I'd rather it just be the same speed and not have to deal with that extra animation. But
yes,
this is fine because it sounds like everything will be fast based on what we're hearing.
Yeah, so we'll see. Next note, you can cancel partial reloads during an animation. So yeah, you can reload cancel again. That has never not been a feature in a Call of Duty game except for MW2.
Yeah.
I mean, no surprise there, but that's good. Mantling is faster, and you can mantle while sprinting. Okay. So mantling is when you climb on top of or over something. This is good.
Sprinting, what does that mean? Like maybe
it's probably like a vault. You probably
so you mantle over it real fast when you're sprinting, versus you can mantle also while standing, and then you're kind of just going to slowly climb up it. So it's different speeds. I guess
that would be my assumption. Yeah.
Yeah, because now it's like if you mantle
animation.
Yeah, if you mantle on like a wall in Warzone right now, if you're standing there or sprint up to it, it's the same speed to get over it. I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
Right. So this is okay. Yes. So this is just confirming different speeds. Cool. Great.
That's really good. One question I have that is not answered by this is ledge hanging returning? I don't know if they're going to talk about that. I suspect they're not. I hope ledge hanging does not return, because remember when they had started talking about ledge hanging before MW2 launched and before beta, I had said this is one of these dumb fucking features like blind fire where it's cool on paper, but no one's ever going to use it, and it's just going to slow me down. And guess what? We were right, obviously.
Yeah, we had to change some settings, so basically we never ledge hang or something.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
A couple settings.
So we still don't know if ledge hanging is going to be in the game. I am vehemently opposed to its existence, and I hope it's not in the game, but we'll see. We don't know that yet. You can fire during and immediately after sliding, so good. Tac sprint durations are increased. The exact duration depends on the weapon being used.
That's not the case now either, right?
That is not the case now.
Excellent.
No, you either tac sprint X meters without double time or Y with, irrespective of what weapon you have. Now it's going to depend on the gun you're using. I think that's pretty interesting. and a pretty good way to balance different weapon
We'll be
categories.
zooming with SMGs then too.
Exactly, yeah. So you can tac sprint farther with an SMG than an LMG. And maybe they could also make LMGs a little more powerful than they otherwise would as an extra pro to compensate for the extra con of having less tac sprint time. Good dimension on which you can implement some additional balance changes. I like that. And it just makes sense. And then the last point here, tactical sprint recharges while sprinting. So that, I mean, that's also the case in MW2. You just don't know when it's recharged. So that's my next question is, if I'm sprinting in if I'm tac sprinting in MW3 and I'm holding down my sprint button while I do that, okay? And then my tac sprint runs out, so I transition to a regular sprint automatically. And then I just keep going straight. When my tac sprint is back up, am I going to have to stop moving for a second or slide or do some kind of animation to re-enter a tac sprint? Or will it be possible that as soon as my tac sprint is done recharging, I immediately transition from a sprint back to a tac sprint since I started that sprinting animation from a tac sprint? That's my next huge question.
Well, I think it already does that. I'm very
curious.
Because there's the setting now where you can make it so when tac sprint is available again, it'll automatically begin the tac sprint once again. Is that what you mean? Because that's a setting right now in like Warzone.
No, that's not what I mean. So like right now, if I tac sprint and then I just keep holding sprint and keep going,
yeah,
I'll start regular sprinting and then I will regular sprint forever unless I do something to do the tac sprint again. I'm not just going to automatically start tac sprinting again. Maybe with auto tac setting turned on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a setting to do that. Yeah.
So auto tac sprint is the setting.
I don't know I don't think it's auto tac sprint because it's a separate setting. Because I remember messing around with it when the game launched.
I'm almost positive that's not true.
Okay. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's there. But anyways, okay.
No, I don't think so. That's why you have to do the fucking melee or something.
Well, it's because it like does it because you can reset it quicker. That's the reason. You can reset it quicker than what the game will reset it as, like diving and doing melee and all that stuff. That like resets it essentially. That's why people do that. It's because you can do it faster.
It runs the check to see if you have tac sprint available. It doesn't reset the timer. It doesn't like speed up the timer. That's why you have to do it. That's why I'm asking, because I don't want to have to do something. And we still don't know if I'm going to have to do something in the next game. I hope that you won't have to do something. It should work that way. If I start tac sprinting, I go forward, my tac sprint runs out, and then while I'm sprinting, my tac sprint comes back up. I should automatically just start tac sprinting again at that point. Right now, it does not work that way. It's never worked that way. And I'm hoping it will work that way in MW3, but we don't know. I'm assuming, honestly, it's not going to, and you'll just have to slide. And that's okay. So the slide is going to recheck to see if tac sprint is available again, but it's not going to reset the timer on the tac sprint. So it's not going to force you to do it. So I don't know. We'll see how that works. But either way, this is all better than what we have now by leaps and also bounds.
Yeah.
So this is fantastic.
I don't know if you saw this. I'll mention this now. Charlie Intel confirmed this is all porting over to Warzone when MW3 integrates with Warzone. So in Season 1, all of these movement changes and everything, this will also change in Warzone too. It'll not just be for multiplayer, which is excellent. That's what we had talked about a couple weeks ago, and we were kind of saying that, yeah, I think it will work that way. A lot of people were like, no, I don't think they're going to change the movement in Warzone, but it's like, well, it's not major movement change. It's not like it's going from MW19 to Cold War movement. That's not how it's going to work. It's very similar. Just essentially, it's like IDub could make a patch right now for Season 5 Reloaded and make all these changes, but they just choose not to. It's not like an entirely different movement system like MW19 to Cold War. So yeah, I think that's excellent too. We're going to get it in Warzone. Yeah.
They should have mentioned that somewhere sooner, I guess. But yeah, you're right. That's yeah. So yeah, keep in mind, all these things are going to also be coming to Warzone, which is what we care about more than anything. So anyway, Multiplayer features is the next subheader here. Carry forward. So we've kind of already talked about all of this. Yeah, we've already gone over pretty much all of this. So nothing else to get into there. And the next section here is zombies, an all new open world. So we have a screenshot here, and this screenshot shows two different types of zombies. One is the normal-ass type, and then we're already seeing a new zombie type, or maybe not new exactly, but a different zombie type than the regular-ass one. It's a biped with 4 arms and a bunch of heads and like a crazy mouth. The type of zombie I don't care about, but it's just an illustration that there are more than one type of zombie in the next experience, which is not terribly surprising to me. So anyway, here's what they say. For the first time, team up with other squads to survive and fight massive hordes of the undead in the largest zombies map ever. Modern Warfare Zombies tells an involved and unearthly dark aether zombie story set in the MW universe. Expect to undertake missions across different regions that escalate in difficulty, with core zombies features and a cavalcade of secrets to discover. Ready up for an open world PvE extraction survival experience against some of the biggest enemies in CoD history. Wow. So unfortunately, that's all they have to say in this blog post about zombies. But there are a couple of interesting little notes here. You are teaming up with other squads. So you're queuing into like an online lobby, and there are going to be other real-ass people on your map. It's also not round-based. It's extraction-based. And it's going to be the dark aether kind of storyline and shit. And that's what we originally saw in Cold War. So pretty interesting stuff there. I think you said, Tanner, that we are not getting round-based zombies.
That's what
I don't know if someone said we will not be getting round-based zombies, or if Call of Duty didn't mention it, so people are assuming it's not coming. Because it's possible we will also get round-based zombies in addition to this, but they just haven't said that yet. So
I think it's the leakers are all saying we won't be getting round-based at all this year.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let me see. Yeah, all the leakers are saying this zombies iteration has no round-based, and we won't be getting round-based again until Treyarch's title in 24. So that's what kind of worries me. Is this sounds fine on paper? Vanguard Zombies also didn't sound that bad on paper. There was a lot of info out, and then you played it for 10 minutes, and you're like, oh, this is a complete joke. I can't believe they wasted their time on this. Then they ended up introducing round-based zombies. So I don't know, because the thing with round-based is it keeps getting harder and harder, and you keep fighting more and more, and it gets more intense. If this is anything like Outbreak, there's a lot of downtime where it just becomes boring. And then also the other thing with round-based is you can play as long as you want.
That's what I was thinking.
For an extraction mode, does that mean you have to get out by a certain time? Like you kind of do missions and you have to escape? Or can other people on the map escape, and then it's just our team of like 4 or whatever, and we can continue to fight if we want, and there's no timer? I would kind of doubt it, since they're like online lobbies with other players. I feel like the lobby's going to have to end at some point.
Correct. Yeah,
it's not like you're just in a match with your own friend. So that kind of worries me as well. Yeah. So as we talked about, there is definitely something there down the line for a PvPvE zombies mode where there's PvP with players and also zombies involved. We're not getting that. And it's, I would like that, but also if they did that, we would need a PvP mode and a PvE, because I also want to play zombies and not worry about PvP. But I would love to see a mode that involves zombies like this in an open world that also has PvP. Not like something intense, not like say we have a map the size of Verdansk. I'm not talking about like 100 players. I'm talking about like maybe 20, 30 total people on a map of that size, fighting mostly zombies, but then also there's a PvP element. And maybe something like DMZ where I guess you could kind of choose to team up or work together on certain tasks. I don't know. There's definitely something there. Kind of disappointing they're not doing it, but also zombies has to have a PvE only element to it. So if we're only getting one PvP or PvE, I guess I'm glad it's the PvE mode, yeah. But we need both of them.
Yeah, that's... If there does, in fact, end up not being a round-based zombies, I think that's going to be a really big mistake, because this is one thing I talked about in Cold War. Outbreak ultimately ended up being kind of a flop, but I had said at the time it was still good that they tried it, and it was still good because you need to be able to create something new and try to innovate to discover the next really fun and exciting gameplay variety for zombies or any other category, multiplayer, Warzone, whatever. You have to kind of like try new shit and iterate on it to make it fun and engaging and worth playing. And you can't do that if you just do, like in this example, round-based zombies only every single time you do zombies. And the way Cold War did this really well is they had full, robust, round-based zombies and Outbreak. So they said, okay, you guys can play Outbreak or the mode you already know and love. If you don't like Outbreak, don't play it. You still have a good experience for you, but it also gave them the leeway to experiment and start to chip away on a new mode that maybe will become, down the line, everyone's favorite. If they don't do that route here, that's going to be a shame, because basically, if this zombies mode is the only one, and it's not super fun and preferable to round-based for most players, then most zombies players are going to be shafted. They're going to say, I wish you would have just done only round-based. The best way to do this is to have one mode be the new mode, like this one, and then have round-based anyway. So you can keep every zombies player happy. And then maybe this is a little more fun than Outbreak, but it's still not better than round-based. So then the next time they do it, they iterate more on it, make it a little better, etc. But if they don't have both, that's going to be a real shame. And I guess that's what the leakers are saying right now. The leakers could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know what to really think. They haven't said anything about round-based, so there's no reason to really think we will be getting it.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think we need... I'm worried. This worries me more the more I think about zombies, that it may be just a total flop again. Because, you know, we get excited because it's Treyarch, but Treyarch did Vanguard zombies too. So, and that was fucking miserable, and it launched the same way. Yeah. I guess the maps weren't like big though in Vanguard. That's the other difference. You still had to kind of like fast travel. This will be better than
Vanguard zombies no matter what. But
yeah, that was like the worst gaming experience ever created online.
Yeah, that was really bad. But yeah, I hope we're not gonna... I hope we are gonna get round-based, but I don't know. It's not seeming great. So anyway, let's move on. Additional intel coming, pre-orders now available. So yeah, you can pre-order the game, blah, blah, blah. So overall, that is a very interesting little blog post. A lot of good news in there, not much bad news. And I will take pretty much all of it, honestly. The only gripes I have are, again, with zombies, maybe not getting round-based. That would be bad. And then Ninja's kind of annoying, but I don't really care that much.
Yeah, no.
And other than that, everything else is pretty great, honestly. And I'm pretty excited about all of it.
Yeah, it sounds perfect on paper. It sounds like actually everything that a lot of people want. Remastered maps, which I get it. A lot of people complain about that. They want new maps, but they don't make good maps anymore. They don't make very good maps. Like every single title will have like 5. They're like, oh, these are pretty good. And like maybe 1 or 2 that's like, oh, this is excellent. But usually they're just fine. Or complete dog shit. So, we know what we're getting. Like I said, it's going to sell the hell out of the game for them. I was kind of like, until I heard all this info, I'd been originally thinking, oh, this game I don't think will sell very well. But that alone is going to do numbers for them. Having 16 launch maps remastered from the original MW2, that's going to work out really great. So, movement, all of these changes, sounds insane, actually. Sounds really, really good. It's just... they can say so many things. If I load into the match and I start shooting my gun and there's so much smoke that I can't see what I'm shooting, or there's sun glare in my eye and I can't see what I'm shooting, or there's worse visual screen shake than we have in MW2, the game is just chalked. It doesn't matter how good the movement is. Doesn't matter that I can slide and shoot. None of it matters. The maps don't matter if I can't see what I'm shooting at and issues like that. And that's what they constantly fuck up all the time. MW19 was perfect on paper for me. The red dot thing, I know going into it we weren't really sure. People didn't end up liking it, of course, but MW19 was ruined by the maps, and that's primarily it. The maps and shit visibility on a lot of them. So, it all sounds perfect, but it's just I need to see actual gameplay. So I'm not gonna get overly excited about it. Does it sound better from what we've heard than all of the last COD titles? For sure. This sounds a lot better than the last 4 Call of Duty titles we've had. But yes, we go through this every single goddamn year. Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought this up because this is something we were both going to talk about at some point. Again, like Tanner just said, on paper, all of this sounds fucking awesome. And it sounds like Call of Duty is saved. Because we're getting, on paper, a lot of the things we have been asking for quite a while. Longer TTK, more movement possibilities, faster movement, all of these great things, and good maps too, because we already know the maps, for 6s at least. These are all things that contribute to a wider skill gap, and these are all things that contribute more to player freedom, and these are all what we've wanted. And these are all things that do contribute to a good game and can make a good game. Now, are a lot of these things necessary for the next COD to be fun? Yes. Are they sufficient for the next COD game to be fun? No. So it is still absolutely possible that this game will not be fun.
Yep.
Don't forget that no matter how many good features or mechanics they add into the game, the number of ways in which they can ruin the experience far outnumber the number of ways in which it can be saved. Because it only takes 1 or 2 dog shit choices to ruin a game that is perfect on paper. I would like to take you all back to Cold War. Many of you probably share my feelings on Cold War multiplayer. The maps were actually pretty goddamn solid in Cold War multiplayer. The visibility was fantastic. The time to kill was also quite good. Pretty fucking slow, which is what we wanted. The movement, there was no attack sprint, but besides that, it was pretty good. You moved fairly quickly. You could slide. You could cancel your slide. You could shoot while sliding. A lot of the things that we are going to be getting with MW3 that everyone's very excited about. But LMGs were insanely overpowered, and sniper rifles had aim assist. Those 2 things alone ruined multiplayer, in conjunction with some really bad performance issues on launch. But don't forget about that. Cold War had almost all of these multiplayer elements that everyone is so excited about and is insisting will save Call of Duty multiplayer. But those 2 things alone, especially snipers, ruined it. You weren't allowed to use another gun except a sniper.
Yeah.
They were way too good. 1-shot headshot anywhere on the body, and it had aim assist and no flinch. It was insane. It was completely insane. Eventually, they toned that down. I don't remember what they had nerfed. I don't know if they removed the aim assist or they added more flinch. They did something to make it better. They never really fixed LMGs, by the way. They were always insane. They probably still are right now if I got on Cold War. 2 fairly small design decisions by Sledgehammer or Treyarch that ruined an otherwise perfect multiplayer experience. What is lurking underneath the bed of MW3 multiplayer that we don't know about yet? Do we have aim assist for snipers in MW3 multiplayer? I don't know. How much flinch will snipers have in MW3 multiplayer? I don't know. What kind of hitbox are we working with? Is there going to be a sniper that's a one-shot kill with 150 health that is in the chest? If you have aim assist and no flinch, guess what gun you're forced to use or you can't play multiplayer? The sniper. Now, keep in mind, this is one possible thing that would ruin multiplayer. It's just one. It's just one that I can think of, and I can only think of it because it happened in Cold War. There are a near infinite number of things like this that, despite all of the awesome, great changes that we want, would ruin the fucking game.
Yep.
So if you're excited, stop it. We have no idea if this game is going to be good. You might be thinking, okay, you know what, Raz and Tanner, you guys are right. I'm going to temper my expectations. I'm going to wait until I've played the beta. And then if I have fun in the beta, then I'm going to get excited and I'm going to know that the game will be fun. Wrong! Guess what they did in the last beta? They had awesome, fun, and exciting bunny hopping that they silently removed and have still never said anything about. What happened to that? The devs decided, oh, did you guys have fun in our beta? That can't stand. Let's remove the bunny hop feature. And now your character is in quicksand all the time, I guess. Why? We will never know because Infinity Ward doesn't tell people anything, but they just removed that feature. So you can't even play the beta and then have unexperience and then carry that forward into how you think the game is going to play when it launches. Because they have now, Activision has now demonstrated they're willing to change things fucking 2 weeks before launch that are really big core mechanics like bunny hopping. So stop being excited. I'm not saying this game is going to be bad. I'm very hopeful, and I think this is the best thing we could have gotten in terms of information and indication about whether the next game is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. These are all good signs. But this does not mean the next game is going to be fun. It means the odds are higher that the next game is going to be fun. It means their head's in the right spot for the next game being fun. But it does not necessarily mean the next game is going to be fun. But also, it does not necessarily mean the next game is going to be terrible. I'm not saying it will be bad. I'm quite optimistic, in fact. But I am not certain, and you shouldn't be either. So just don't forget who we're dealing with here. Many things they could do to fuck this up. So many things. I was going to list a bunch of things, but I'm not going to. You guys get the point.
Yeah, I mean, even the Vanguard beta had a crazy bunny hop. Do you remember that? And then that was changed,
like a triple
too.
B hop. Yeah.
Or it was like even like a quadruple or something we had never had, and then that was cut back too. Because I remember, I think it was Raiden had like a little clip go kind of viral for it, for him hitting one, or maybe it was just he retweeted it. But I remember it something to do with him in that clip. I remember
that. It was Raiden, yeah.
And it was a crazy one, and that was in the beta, and then that didn't make it a full game either. So, and Sledgehammer loves fire. There are a ton of things they could completely destroy with this game, but what is everyone already doing?
Visibility.
Oh, thank God Sledgehammer's saving us. None of you guys liked Vanguard, right? Sledgehammer designed that game, so stop saying Sledgehammer is going to save us when the last Call of Duty they designed was literally one of the most hated CODs of all time. That is probably in most people's bottom 5 Call of Duty games of all time list, and it was made by then. World War II, most people hated that. I guess they turned it around at some point 8 months later. Miserable launch from what I heard, never played it really. Made by Sledgehammer. So let's settle down with the Sledgehammer saving us shit. They don't have a good track record either. So
yeah.
I mean, no one does in terms of launching a COD game in a good state. But actually, maybe more than anything, with them remastering maps, it actually did give them a lot more time to work on other things. The game will still be a buggy disaster for sure, but maybe, maybe it won't be completely unplayable for once.
Yeah. So we're not saying the next game, once again, to reiterate, for all of you mad that we're always negative or whatever, we're not saying this game, like these things don't matter. We think they matter tremendously, and this is really good, and I'm very pleased to see that whole blog post. I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just saying all of this info doesn't mean necessarily the next game is going to be good. Here's another one. This is the simplest example you can make. What if the visibility is terrible? I don't think it will be.
Yeah. Smoke, fire, sun.
Smoke, fire, sun glare, bloom. If the visibility is terrible, then no amount of movement mechanics is going to make the game good. Because if someone's on my screen and I can't see them, I don't care about anything else. The game's ruined by that alone.
Yeah.
So there are a million examples like that. Visibility, I think, is the easiest one to demonstrate this fact. That render every other good change and cool movement, whatever, irrelevant. Because if I can't see people, it doesn't matter how fast I can move. The game won't be fun.
And Gun Bloom.
And there could be a million things like that. So just don't forget. That's all.
Gun Bloom, that launched with Vanguard. No one wanted that in a COD game. They ended up, virtually removing that. It was technically still in the game, I think, but it was so minor, it's like not even noticeable. They did that too. That was such a stupid, ridiculous thing. So everything we've talked about sounds excellent. It sounds literally like the most perfect COD. We're just saying there will be major issues with the game that can easily just completely ruin it for everyone. And that will happen. Trust me, it will happen. All of these people hyping up the game right now will absolutely hate it by March of next year. No doubt in my mind.
It probably will happen, but not necessarily. I'm not certain they're gonna fuck something up that bad, but it's more than likely.
I'm just saying because it's also multiplayer. They won't care about it by March of next year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So anyway,
I won't care about it come season 1.
That blog post is the best thing I could have hoped for. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have one more blog post. This is on pre-order bundles, I suppose.
Yeah, nothing real crazy here.
Yeah, kind of skim through this. You can pre-order the game now. There is a standard edition and a cross-gen bundle edition and a vault edition. You get the full game with both. You get early access to the open beta with both. You get to play the campaign up to a week early, once again, if you pre-order any edition of the game. That's really good. You get a soap operator pack if you get any edition of the game. That's really good.
I think you get that right now in game, I want to say. I think that's what it said when we played the event.
Yeah. And then exclusively for the Vault Edition, if you pre-order it, you get these 3 things. The Nemesis Operator Pack, 2 weapon vaults, which are Giga blueprints, and you get Black Cell and 30 additional tier skips for Season 1 if you get the Vault Edition. So pre-orders are now live. Pretty standard.
What are we doing? Are we doing Vault? I don't think we do this year. I think we do standard.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. We're going to pre-order something so that we can play the open beta early. We're podcasters. We kind of have to. But whether or not we get the Vault Edition, I don't know.
We can always upgrade too once we play the beta. We can say, you know what? I actually think this game's going to be excellent. We're going to give them more money and upgrade to Vault.
Yeah, that's probably the correct play. Pre-order the regular edition if we want to support the game because the beta is fun. Then we can upgrade to the Vault Edition, and then they remove every mechanic that we liked about the beta that made us pre-order the Vault Edition, and then we get scammed. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that.
And the Black Cell the payments may go away this year if the game becomes good. We currently just have the Black Cell tax on you guys because you shouldn't be buying it, because all of you buying it also hate the game. So why are you giving them more money? So that's why if the game is good, it's getting overall good reviews, we enjoy it, then we will remove the Black Cell tax. So we will see come beta, full launch, how that's looking. But as of right now, currently in Warzone 2, you still owe the Black Cell tax.
Correct. To the Dropshot LLC. That's correct. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're not opposed to Black Cell in and of itself. We're opposed to it because the game is in a miserable state, so don't give them extra money.
I mean, I kind of am, actually, because I forgot that you then have to... the COD points they give you, you can't even use for the next one, so we are against it, actually.
Yeah, that's
so never
true.
Mind, we're against it. I'm going to try really hard not to buy it. The last 4 titles, at least since MWIII, I think we've always bought basically the most expensive version.
And it's never been worth it, yeah.
It's never even been a thought. We just always buy it. But I think this is the year. I'm absolutely starting with the standard edition this year. I'll tell you that.
The only reason on a serious note, the only reason I would even consider getting the Vault edition is for the extra tier skips in season 1, so we can unlock the season 1 weapons right away.
Yeah, we'll have both of them unlocked immediately.
Yeah, that would be nice. But I don't give a fuck about the Vault weapon vaults or the Nemesis operator pack, obviously. Yeah. So, am I going to spend that much for, tier skips? I don't know. Probably not. But whatever. Anyway, yeah. So they talk about what the Vault Edition comes with. You guys can go look into this yourselves. But
yeah, here's a screenshot of the vault.
It's included with... Black Cell bundle is included for Season 1. If you pre-order the Vault Edition, you get the 2 weapon vaults. You get some operators. They go into details on what all this looks like, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of it. So Vault Edition is going to be $100, and then the regular Ast Edition is going to be $70, I believe.
Yeah, it should be. It's probably $69 and $99. Yeah, are you even seeing prices, or did you just come up with those?
I saw $99 for the Vault Edition, but I did not see the regular edition. But I would assume the regular one's $70. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty weird for them to not put fucking
let me hit the
amount of
button.
money it costs.
Battle.net. Oh my god, it makes you go and log in before it shows you a price. I hate them.
Okay, $70. Yeah, $70 for regular.
Okay, yeah, and then Vault's $99.
And then $100 for So there you go. So anyway, yeah.
So and it says right on the pre-order page, it's November 2nd at 10 a.m. It says, so that's when the campaign will release. 10 a.m. Very cool.
Yeah. So there you go. So anyway, moving on, we got a couple of other things here. These are the key dates that were leaked from Tom Henderson. We've already gone over these, but now that we have official confirmation, we want to go over them again because these are looking to be more and more accurate and correct. Beta Weekend 1. Now remember, these are leaks from Tom Henderson, but I believe them. This is probably true, although none of this is confirmed except the full release date. Beta Weekend 1 for PS4 and PS5, October 6th to the 10th. Beta Weekend 2 for everyone, October 12th to the 16th. Campaign Early Access, November 2nd. Full release, November 10th. And then Season 1 launch and the new Warzone map, December 5th. Wow.
Yeah, and he originally said this like 3 months ago, and the campaign early access and full release are confirmed, and those are correct. So my guess is the other ones are correct too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool. So mark your calendars for that. So basically, unless you have PlayStation early access, just mark it down. Beta's the 12th to the 16th, and that will work like if you pre-order, you probably get the 12th and 13th, and then if you don't, it's the 14th, 15th, 16th. So, and that's still plenty of time to play it.
Yeah. So.
Then moving on, there was like another little blog post somewhere that I found, but it was like nothing interesting. But there's one thing they said about the upcoming MW3. They did say, mention new additions to Ricochet anti-cheat as well as new anti-toxicity plans to continue to deliver a fun, fair, and welcoming online experience for all players. So again, we'll see some Ricochet upgrades. I haven't played Warzone in like almost a week now. I guess actually pretty much a week. And I've been hearing it is fucking filled with cheaters. I've been seeing clips. I guess it's really, really bad right now in ranked. This one kid I follow, Braxton, he's in the World Series of Warzone. He posted something about like holy shit, I'm just getting like hacked on left and right, and he pointed out this guy's name. He's like, for sure this non-streamer in the top 250 named blank is not cheating, surely. And then the guy, this is real, he replied to him and he said, sorry bro, and it was him in game with his cheat menu up, and he took a screenshot of like after he killed Braxton or something, and he had the engine owning cheat menu up, and you can see names through the walls and stuff. And this kid and his whole squad was in top 250. Those 3 random players right there probably cheating. So I guess it's absolutely outrageous right now in the high ranked lobbies. It kind of goes through phases where it seems really bad, and I guess this is one of them right now. Like the good players are saying every single lobby has like an obvious aimbotter in it, not just someone maybe walling. It's like very obvious cheaters. And I saw Braxton had also posted another clip of like, holy shit, these kids aren't even hiding it. Someone else totally unrelated already pre-aiming him with attack V. I think this kid was top 252 or iridescent, level 50 by the way, so he's been cheating his ass off, got all the way to level 50. He's like max rank and ranked, hasn't been banned, just staring through a hill, comes over the hill, pre-aiming it. As soon as he barely comes around the corner, just all headshots immediately melts him. So obvious. And these kids are not banned. They're max rank, max level in Warzone rank, just rampant. So that's great. It's obviously much better than it's been in the past, but Ricochet definitely still has some issues with it.
Yeah, and to be fair to Activision on this topic, they've said this. They've said as much about how anti-cheat works, where it's like there are kind of waves and it's like a constant battle between the cheaters and the anti-cheaters, where, a new anti-cheat measure comes out. It's really effective for a month while engine owning devs engineer a way to get around it. And then once they do, the cheating's really bad. And then Ricochet combats the updated cheats, and then it's kind of just goes in cycles like this. It's probably always going to be that way.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're in a bad cycle right now, but there's going to be some new improvements. So
yeah,
that's just free to play fucking games. That's just going to happen. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Then again, as I already said, Charlie Intel said the movement will carry over to Warzone when MWIII and Warzone integrate later this year. That's all the movement changes. He also said this: there was no information shared about DMZ or if DMZ would exist after Modern Warfare 3's launch. So I'm sure it's going to exist, but it may just never get updated again, because there's no way they sold all of these DMZ bundles for like active operator, UAV, that they're still like in the store right now, like brand new bundles for DMZ, and DMZ just be gone in 4 months, right? There's no way. But also we said the same thing when they added Fortune's Keep. Oh, there's no way they designed this whole brand new Resurgence map to use for 4 months. Of course we'll get this in Warzone too. Sure as fuck didn't. So who knows? I think this would be a massive mistake. DMZ definitely has a player base, so I'm sure it'll stay in the game. But
I feel like it's gonna stick around.
MW3 will not have its own version of DMZ. I know that. It'll probably be Infinity Ward in control of it solely, and it may get some changes. Oh, it'll get thousands of bug fixes every week. Don't worry about that. None of them will matter, of course.
I agree with you. That's exactly probably what's going to happen.
So I think it'll still be playable.
Yeah, there's going to be no DMZ in MW3 specifically, but it'll still be available in the same way it is now. Mm-hmm. And they'll keep doing whatever they're doing to it. That would be my expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had a tweet from, his name is Bob Network. He is definitely a certified, verified leaker. Charlie Intel has been retweeting him a lot. He's been right about all the recent things. All the leaks we've talked about pretty much have been courtesy of this guy, Bob Network UK. He's had 2 Twitter accounts banned for DMCA violations in the last month. He has 10 Twitter accounts in total, so he's legit. He's getting banned. That means his things are true, what he's leaking. So he tweeted out some dumb cryptic message. I don't know why he doesn't just say what it is, because he knows. Basically, what it leads to is Ghost is supposedly only going to work while moving in Modern Warfare 3, which is not the case in Modern Warfare 2. So you have to be moving for your Ghost to be active. If you're sitting in a corner with Ghost equipped, you're going to show up on the minimap if someone pops a UAV. So that's good. That's the way it always should be in every CoD going forward. Yeah, so that's good news.
Yeah, this is another step. Again, another one of those things where this is really good if it's in the game, but it doesn't make the game fun on its own. We need other things. But yeah, this is awesome. I do think there's a place for Ghost, and I think if it works while moving and not while being still, that's how it should be implemented.
Yeah.
So that's great. And that would ostensibly carry over to Warzone as well, which would be really interesting if that's how that's going to work.
Okay, so I guess just still no one knows. I thought Ghost works always in Warzone, right? That's what we think?
Yes.
So that kid Braxton, who's in the World Series of Warzone, also tweeted, he like responded to something. He's like, bro, this is already how it works in Warzone. It doesn't work if you stand still. And there have been people that have said that throughout the year, like no one's actually sure how it works. I don't know if there's actual confirmation. I have no idea. It certainly seems like it always works.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
So I think he's just wrong, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Because he plays Warzone 15 hours a day. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. Yeah, I thought it just always worked.
Yeah, Sledgehammer tweeted some more things. So, last thing here quickly. There's another one. Ghost of Hope tweeted something. It doesn't matter what he tweeted. But there was a response to it. And some guy said, calling cards in the multiplayer lobby, ? I went to his page and I saw it was a Sledgehammer UI design guy. UI design dev. I looked back 10 seconds later, his tweet was deleted. So basically, they really are trying to take this old school. So it sounds like it's going to be, really the last game we had this, BO4. You see a list of people's names, you can hover over, where like the showcase that we have in Modern Warfare 2, there's a showcase that doesn't fucking matter because you don't see people loading into a lobby like that. That may be coming back too. I really think they're trying to make it feel, I feel like the UI even is going to be similar to Modern Warfare 2, where like the left menu is going to be the mode, the right is going to be the one line of everyone in the lobby, everyone's going to be shit-talking, saying vile things out of their little microphones. I can hover over their names, I can see their calling card, hopefully the showcase feature is there like BO4. Great, small little things like that make for an excellent experience. So that's cool. I agree. And the fact that this guy is the UI designer for Sledgehammer and also tweeted this, absolutely confirmed calling cards like that will be coming. So that's cool. Another little... That makes calling cards matter because they don't matter right now at all. They haven't mattered. They usually don't matter other than in Treyarch games. Yeah. So, dope.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. It is the little things kind of like that make for a big change in the aggregate. So that's really good.
Yeah, so anyways, Sledgehammer just tweeted another thread real quick. Let me read it. Talking about the core mechanics of MWIII will bring exceptional freedom of choice, movement, and customization to gameplay. I like how they say choice. Again, little knock in Infinity Ward there. Today we'd like to highlight a few popular requests included in today's big announcements. Attack stance balances mobility and accuracy, allowing for evasive maneuvers and aggressive engagements. It's available on most weapons. Most weapons, okay. So probably not like snipers and stuff. Yeah. Included those carried forward from MW2 and can be dynamically toggled anytime during gameplay. Okay, so MW2 weapons you'll be able to do that with too. So all the movement changes, obviously, that will work for those guns. Sliding has been enhanced with offensive capabilities. By default, tack stance is allowed during a slide, and an equipable perk enables ADS precision. Awesome. Great feature that they do it as a perk.
Whoa, tying it to a perk is a good balancing mechanic or mechanism. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Additional tuning includes increased control over your slide direction. Additional tuning includes increased control over slide direction and the option to cancel the animation to get back on your feet. Additional tuning. Does that mean literally like tuning? Like tuning your...
I think they mean like they've done tuning to how slide works so that if you like move your mouse left while you're sliding, your character will actually do that rather than just being stuck in whatever direction, which is good. More control is always a good thing. I like that.
Okay. And then getting caught during a reload shouldn't mean the end of your kill streak. While reloading a weapon with ammo remaining in the magazine, you can get back into the fight by canceling the reload animation. I really, truly wonder what goes through like Joe C. Cott and Pat Kelly's mind reading all of this shit. Like, they must have beef. Sledgehammer leads and Infinity Ward have to have beef. That is crazy.
I love it.
That is wild shit there. And they go on to say, in the coming months, we'll share more refinements and new features coming to MWIII, all aimed at improving the gameplay experience. The gameplay experience. Wow. Wild.
Yeah.
That is funny how they were all of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, again, all of this sounds virtually perfect on paper, but I'll play the beta and let you guys know what our thoughts are.
Exactly, yeah. So we are very, very hopeful and optimistic, cautiously, but it is no longer ever going to be a given that the next game for Call of Duty is going to be good or fun. There are still a million ways things can go wrong. They will go wrong in some respects. Let's hope they don't break the game. But as far as information we could have received about how the next game is going to look, this is the best we could have ever hoped for. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing they could have told me that would have made me happier than what they have today. And many of you and many other fans of the game feel the same way. So this is a really, really good insight into where Sledgehammer is at and what direction they plan to take this game in. And it's a very, very good one. So I'm really excited. Things could go wrong. Let's hope they don't misstep too drastically, and then this is going to be a really fun game. And all of this shit carrying over to Warzone, which I think is the most important for us, is fantastic as well. I think all of this coming to Warzone 2 is only going to be a good thing. I don't think that they can mess up, really.
No, Warzone 2.
So Warzone will just become better once these things come to Warzone. I think that it's not possible that these things are going to make Warzone worse. Unless it's so buggy it's unplayable.
Which we have it won't be as buggy as the launch of Warzone 2 because that was a totally new experience, obviously. So like we're gonna get a new map. There will be issues with that, people shooting in the walls and shit, falling through the map, but far less buggy. Yeah, it's about this time last year, we were saying Warzone 2 won't probably be in a good playable state until like March. I would say like this year with the core Warzone we have and these movement changes coming at the launch of Season 1 of Warzone and MW3, I mean, this is like seriously, Warzone could be in its best place in the history of the game mode since like in late this year, early 2024. Could be the best it's ever been.
I agree.
Completely opposite of last year.
Yeah,
because they made a ton of good changes, and the movement changes will only make the game better. New map, rotating maps, already 3 resurgence maps, basically, probably another one at that point. It's gonna go fucking bonkers for sure.
So, yeah, all in all, a great episode. I'm super excited and I'm super hopeful. I think we've got a lot of potential here, and let's see if they don't drop the ball. But this is all really good shit to hear, and we will keep you guys posted as we start to learn more in the coming weeks. So that's it, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back Saturday to talk about something. Maybe we get more info on the next game, and we'll go over that. We'll see what happens. But we are now entering the exciting pre-launch season of the yearly Call of Duty cycle, and it's going to be a lot of fun over here at the Dropshot. So keep that in mind. Don't forget, we'll see you guys on Saturday, patreon.com/thedropshot. Don't forget, if you're a Spotify enjoyer, link your Patreon and Spotify accounts, and you can get the bonus episodes and the ad-free episodes directly through Spotify now. Very easy to do, very fun and exciting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.